everybody, and welcome back to Database Management. In this module, we'll be talking about table joins. Here, you will learn how to determine which data from what table should be displayed together and can be displayed together. And then we will use the join operator and MySQL to join data from one or more tables. We will practice when to use the inner join and left join and right join operators, and when to use NULL to exclude the portion of the data that you don't want to display. We will also discuss how to get around MySQL's problems with the full outer join operator. Lastly, we will look at how to join information from two or more tables, not by using the join operator, but by using where statements and the table name.column notation. Let's go!
Table joins are ways of displaying data from two different tables with queries that attach themselves to a shared field between those two tables. Of course, there are different ways of displaying these data depending on what data you want to actually display. So we have different types of joins. We have left joins and right joins. These joins are based on displaying everything from one table and only the shared information from the other table, as in the left join and the right join. Or they are based on displaying only the information from table A that is not in table B and none of the information from table B, or only the information from table B that is not in table A. That would be a left join and a right join with null. Or we can decide that we want to display only the information that is common to both tables, or only the information that is not common to both tables. This is an inner join. This is called an outer join with null. Or we can decide, lastly, to display all the information from all the tables. That's what is called a full outer join. So let's jump right in. Please open the video store schema and take a look at both the employee and the person tables. That's what we're going to use. But before we do that, let's talk about the inner join, which is one of the most frequent joins that we use. Here in our example tables, we're talking about a Halloween costume store. Here are the costumes for year 2013. Here are the costumes for year 2014. Now, how can we display the costumes that were in the store in both 2013 and in 2014? Well, let's see. We have to use an inner join. We're going to select everything from Halloween 2013, and then we're going to do an inner join, that is telling the DBMS to look for only the information that is in both tables, to Halloween 2014 on, and now we pick the column from which we want to extract the data, which is the name column. So on Halloween 2013 name, where it equals the Halloween 2014 name column, so that we pull out only the rows that have the same name in them. And that's what we get here. So this is your inner join. This is your inner join performed on the person and the employee tables. Here we're pulling out from the person table just the person ID and the person family name column. And here we're selecting just the person ID from the employee table, and we're seeing that the person ID column shows up in both tables. Great, we can join them. So here in our inner join, we have this basic query that we took from here, but now we're going to join it to the employee table, and we're saying we're going to join it to the employee table on employee.personID, where that person ID is the same as this person ID. So we're going to pull from the person table only those rows where the person ID is the same as over here. And our output is quite naturally 1, 2, and 10, and the associated family names. Now, let's talk about a left join. A left join pulls everything from a table from the table that is mentioned first, and only the information from the second table that is also in the first table. Here's what that looks like. We're going to select everything from Halloween 2013. We're going to perform a left join on this table. So we're telling the DBMS we're going to display everything from here and only the information from here that is also over here. And we're going to join on the column, again, that is the same between both tables, namely the name column. That's the one we're interested in. That's our sorting criterion, if you will. And this is the result that we're getting. Here is the same example with the employee and the person tables. So we're seeing here, we want everything from our person table, and we're left joining it to our employee table, such that we get the output that for everything that is in our employee table, in our person table, and only the information from our employee table that is also in our person table. Of course, everybody in our employee table is already in our person table, so the output really is the same over here as it is over here. The right join works kind of in the same way, only that we're sorting on a different table. So here we're saying we're going to look at this table first, and we're going to pull out from this table only the information that is also in this table. So the right join works with the left, you can work with the left join operator, just like this. Nothing different. We can also use the right join operator, and look at this. The right join operator will give us not the person ID and person family name from person output that we saw with the left join, but it will now give us the output for everything that is in the employee table with the associated field that is also in the person table. That's the right join. We can decide to do a left join with null and to display only the information that is in one table but not in the other, and that is not shared between the two tables. That's what you're seeing here. Here we would say we're going to select everything from this table. We're going to left join it to this table on the name column. That's nothing new. But we're saying now where Halloween 2014 ID is null. So that gives us the monkey and the princess. Here's the left join with null right here. And of course, now in this case, we are seeing all the information displayed from this table and none from this table. Now, we also have the option of performing an outer join where both are null. That means that we will be displaying only the information that is very specifically in this table and very specifically in this table, but none of the information that is shared between the two tables. So here we're performing a left join, but we're saying where Halloween 2013 ID is null or the Halloween 2014 ID is null, which means that we're getting only the monkey and the princess from Halloween 2013 and Superman and Darth Vader from Halloween 2014. So here's what this looks like. Here's what this looks like in our person and employee tables. What you're seeing here is in the output, we're not seeing person ID 1 and 2, that is Alexander and Chong, because remember, we're excluding specifically those 3 entries that we see in the employee table from our results. So records 1 and 2 and record 10, as you're seeing, are gone. And now this is something for you to think about. If I change the or to an and, I get an empty set. Why would that be? That's for you to answer. We also have the option of displaying everything that is in both tables. For that, MySQL does not allow us to do a full outer join with an outer join operator anymore. Instead, we have to concatenate, if you will, the results from a left join and from a right join. That is, from a left join and a right join. So, and we do that with a union statement. So here is what this looks like. Now the union operator, we have to be careful. The union operator eliminates duplicates. So if you want to show the duplicates as they appear between your table A and your table B, or your person table and your employee table, then you would have to use a more complex union operator. This is what you can research in the Stack Overflow link that I'm displaying right here. Outer joins do exist in other DBMSs though. So here's the summary. This is what we've discussed. We've discussed the left join and the right join. We've discussed the left join with null and the right join with null. We've discussed the inner join that displays only information that's in both tables. We've discussed the outer join with null that displays information that is in each table, but not information that's in both tables. And we've discussed the full outer join, that's the union statement, that displays information, all information that is in both tables. So there are other ways of joining tables as well. And that's an older way of joining. That's how I learned how to do table joins, with the where clause. So here you also have the option of displaying a little bit more information for both tables. It goes like this. Same thing with our person and employee tables again. And we're saying we're selecting from this table this column, and from this table this column, and then we have to say from, and we use both table names. And here where we have our join clause, our joining where clause, where person.person ID, because remember person ID again is the shared column between both tables, right? Where person.person ID equals employee.person ID. And that's what we get here. And we have another example here from our world database schema, where we have the same thing. We're selecting from the city table in the world sample schema that you have installed in MySQL. We're selecting our city name. We're selecting the country name from the city and the country tables, where the city and country code equals the country and the country code. Again, we're looking for identifying columns that are the same or shared between both tables. Now this is where the primary key and the foreign key relationship becomes really important, because the primary key, of course, identifies uniquely a row in a table. And if that primary key shows up as a foreign key in another table, then you have a clear option of joining these two tables and pulling out the information where the primary key is the foreign key in another table. So that's also what we will later come across as an instance of the third normal form.
Well, let's look at what we have learned in this module. We have learned how to determine which data from what table should be displayed together, and then we've talked about the join operator and MySQL a lot. And we've practiced how to use the inner join, the left join, and the right join, and how to use joins with null so that we don't display the parts of the data that we don't want. We've also discussed how to get around the problems that we have with the full outer join, namely using the union operator. And finally, we have used where statements and the table name .column notation to pull information out of two or more tables in a similar way as with a join. Thank you so much for watching. Now look forward to seeing you in a future module.